Peace and blessings, everybody. This is DVJ. This is the Cold World Podcast. It's Monday, Memorial Day. So I just want to say Happy Memorial Day to everyone that's celebrating. Or you that have loved ones that were in the armed services, you know what I'm saying? That fought, you know what I'm saying? That's a vet. I got family that are vets, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got family that's been in the Marines, the Army, all that stuff. I had an uncle that was in that Beirut bombing back in '83 and all that stuff. I'll never forget that, man. Because I remember them coming to the house and we thought they were coming to tell us he was dead. You know what I'm saying? When they come knocking on the door, they had come to tell us like that he had got injured or whatever and that he was at a hospital and stuff like that. And then I remember him calling us like that next day and everything and telling us that he was hurt, but he was okay. Yeah, that was crazy, you know what I'm saying? That Beirut bombing, because we didn't know at first. We were just sitting around waiting for a couple of days, but yeah, he ended up being fine. But yeah, never forget that. So shout out, you know what I'm saying? Memorial Day for those celebrating. I ain't gonna lie, I wish they would have treated, black and brown soldiers a little better when they came home from, the wars and stuff like that. Because if you can do your own research on that, but a lot of black soldiers that came back, you know what I'm saying, and needed like services and stuff like that, were getting shitted on, treated like crap sometimes. I'm saying not in all cases, but in some cases, we were getting treated pretty shittily, so I know certain groups of people, and that's like with everything, even with, I know it's a different topic, but even something like Mother's Day, like, we think like Mother's Day, oh, everyone celebrate, like everyone isn't celebrating Mother's Day because someone just like lost their mother like the year before, or maybe a month before Mother's Day, or, just there's all kinds of different scenarios, but so like, everyone's not celebrating. I'm saying all of these things that are happening. That's all I'm saying. So just always keep that in mind. But yeah. But today I was doing some digging, right? And because I was thinking back to when I was working at that Humane Society out there when I was at that Oregon Correctional Center. It's like a minimum work camp and stuff like that. And before I had started doing my little van job, I was working at that Dane County Humane Society, stuff like that. And I was watching the news, and they'll be having like their little pet of the week or whatever. And then sometimes I'll be seeing commercials and stuff like that. And they used to have like a couple different people that would come on there and like talk about the pet of the week or whatever, and just kind of talk about the center and stuff like that and what they do and about like adopting animals and stuff. And I noticed that like the people that used to come on the news station to promote the place or whatever, they were gone, or they were like new people doing it. So I was like, I wonder what happened to them people. So I just went on their thing and started looking into their, to their staff and and it started talking about how they're like diverse, how their employment stuff, diversity, equity, inclusion, and all that, how they practice that. And I was like, okay. So I just started looking, right? Because remember I was telling y'all about how when I was working there, like basically the job I was doing, you know what I'm saying? And then I looked up like job positions there to see what somebody that would come in there filling out an application, just from the street versus someone that was locked up, you know what I'm saying, going there from like a work camp or whatever. And it was like a $14 or $15 difference, I believe it was. It was something like that. We had made the comparison. And but anyway, so I started looking through their staff thing because I'm like, oh, okay, so they're talking about how they practice diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So I'm like, let me see. And as I was scrolling through, like, their board members, like the execs, all of that people, right? The people kind of in charge on from the top on down. I saw only one black girl only one black person at all. It was a black woman. And she was like, the job she has isn't even nothing special. It's something like they could just get rid of at any point if they felt like they didn't need her anymore, or if she did something, fucked up in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot and then I was like, man, like she's gotta feel uncomfortable working there. She's literally the only black person working in that entire building, it looks like. Because I've worked there, like I said, I worked there, and there's not a lot of staff there to begin with. There's not a lot of people working there in general. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, like, so unless there's just like a few like extra workers or whatever that work here that they just, don't feel are important enough to take pictures of or whatever, like just regular staff people, I'm like, and the chances of them, even people that they may not have pictured or, took photos of, they're more than likely going to be white. So at the very, very most, there's, not even a handful of black people working there. But I only saw one person. And I saw another woman that looked like she might have been Latina, possibly. Because that's the other thing sometimes, too. Is that you, baby? Hi, I'm just recording. So sometimes we'll see like a brown woman or whatever, and we'll just automatically think she's Mexican. She might be Middle Eastern or Arab or something like that. I'm going to check in with Michelle real quick. What's up, baby? Hi.
So.
Oh, you got cigarettes too? Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, just in here, chatting it up. Charlie was just taking a nap. Chewy's in there. Oh, he was trying to eat his pee pad. So I took it away. So I don't know what's up with that. That was the first time I've seen that.
He's so nice.
I mean, it wasn't like the whole, it was just like a piece of it.
Yeah.
But still, like, we don't want that, like, getting in it, him, like, swallowing that or something. Yeah, so we got to figure that out. Make sure that doesn't happen again. Because that's like plastic. You don't want that in his damn stomach or swallowing that.
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
No.
So, yeah. How are the roads?
Well.
I hear sirens and shit.
Mm-hmm. Mequon Road getting off is closed. So I had to go all the way to like Highland. It took me it took me 30 minutes to get from Glendale to Mequon.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And when I was at Joe's, we had to measure for the fence. We need 28 fence panels.
28 fence panels?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a lot.
It is. So I wanted to get that hammered out so that I could do a cost analysis, because that's got to get done soon.
So remember we were talking I think it might have been a couple weeks ago, how we had went on the Dane County Humane Society's thing, and we were like looking at the job comparison to what I was doing there.
Yeah.
So I was looking on their thing, right, and on their board their board of directors, like their executives, just like the staff and all that, right? Because they say in their thing right here too, right? It says diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? It says, at DCHS, our vision is that our communities are better with an ethic of empathy, care, and value for people and animals. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are the key to this vision for a more just and compassionate community. We strive to represent the community we serve, and are working to better reflect our community and our staff and volunteers. We are inspired to create a diverse, equitable, inclusive environment where all visitors, staff, and volunteers feel a sense of inclusion and belonging. Okay, that's all I need to say about that. Now let's check it out. So let's go and see what their staff is talking about then. Okay, border, because I was looking, I'm like, that's complete bullshit. Because look, baby, just scroll through there. Come on, get your scroll on, baby. Scroll on. Get your scroll on. What you seeing when you scrolling through there?
Right.
It ain't even funny, really. It's.
So all the top people are white. I don't even have to finish scrolling.
So what's diverse about that? What's diverse about?
I'm assuming the workers.
But even the workers.
None of those people actually work there.
But here's the thing. Oh.
She's an assistant.
There it is.
And she's an outreach assistant. But, like, I'm assuming that they mean, like, their worker bees are.
But the worker bees, remember I was telling you, because I was working there ain't that many people there to begin with. So there ain't no more than a handful of people that might work there that didn't get pictured or whatever.
Right.
But the odds of them being black or brown are low, too.
Yeah.
So that's it. You saw one black lady. And another, this lady looks like she might be Latina or maybe Native or...
I was just going to say Native.
That's what I was saying, because a lot of times when people see a brown woman, we do too sometimes. Not us, I'm saying, but in general, we assume they're Mexican.
Right.
And they might be Arab, Native American, whatever.
Right.
But that's just crazy. I'm like, that's bullshit. Where is it at? Where is it at? I see nothing but a sea of whiteness.
I'm going to let C out.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. So Michelle was just scrolling through. See, okay, so the president over at the Dane County Humane Society is white. Her name is Laura Murray. And then you got the vice president. Her name is Maggie Primo. She's white. The treasurer, the lady that basically holds the money down, her name is Amy Manthe. She's white. The secretary is white. The board member, okay, here's a board member. His name is Dan. I'm going to stop reading all their full names, but the white dude, his name is Dan. White lady, these are board members. Her name is Joy. Another white lady, her name is Julie. Another white lady, her name is Beth. Another white lady or man, his name is Amy. Another white man, his name is Lynn. Another white man, his name is James. Another white man, his name is Joe. Leadership team. This is the leadership team. The executive director, her name is Pam. She's white. Her assistant, the executive director assistant, is Doug. He's white. The director of animal operations is white. Her name is Sarah. The director of development and marketing, her name is Amy. She's white. The accountant director, the building is white. Excuse me, having a cigarette. Listening to some John Coltrane, waiting for the basketball games to come on in a few hours. The director of customer service is white. Her name is Lori. Development and marketing supervisor, her name's white. Her name is Sarah. Natasha's the donor coordinator. She's white. Lisa, the public relations coordinator, is white. Kelsey, the development and marketing assistant, is white. Paul, the associate director of development, is white. Yeah, and so on and so forth. That's what I'll be saying though. Like, where's the and it said, y'all heard when I read too, it said about in their employment and their staff and all that stuff. That's it. And the only black or brown people that might be coming up in there to even make it even seem that way are the inmates. Like me, that were coming up in there, that were working there 3-4 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's crazy. They'll be lying on their pages and stuff. That's what it said. Y'all can go in there and look too. The Dane County Humane Society website. Go on there and look at their you know what I'm saying, click on their like board. Basically you would click on their, well, as you just scroll down, you know, it'll just come to a board of directors, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Board members, the what's the other one called? Development team, all that stuff. It's all white. You can just scroll. Because as soon as you see a black face, you'll be able to stop. Because we're only going to be far and few in between. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's crazy. Once again, white people dominate and control most spaces. The black girl, she's got to feel uncomfortable there. She has to. She has to. Yeah, that's crazy though. All right. Back to the research. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, right? I'm sure, I mean, obviously people are aware of it, but probably not a ton of people. But because, you know, the big talk, or, you know, most of the border talk or the deportation talk has been centered around, you know, the United States trying to keep, you know, people from Mexico out and other places out of the United States, right? But actually, I think it's kind of funny, you know what I mean? Because there's a segment of Americans that don't think, you know, Mexicans should be, you know, in the United States and shit like that. They want them to build the wall and all that kind of stuff. So I was doing a little research and come to find out, you know, there's actually Americans that are being deported from Mexico. Yeah. So for the people that haven't heard about this, this is out of San Diego. It says, this is a border report. It says 261 Americans deported from Mexico through Baja California in 2023. This is by Salvador Rivera. And said this is San Diego. Says little known fact, Americans also get deported from Mexico, something that happened 261 times last year according to Mexico's Institute of Migration in Tijuana. In 2023 alone, 288 foreign nationals were deported out of Baja to countries such as Peru, Germany, Colombia, Honduras, El Salvador, but most were Americans. I ain't gonna lie, I think it's funny. For the people that don't want Mexicans here and stuff, I think it's funny. You know what I mean? Because it's some of those same people that are getting deported are some of the same ones that probably don't want Mexicans here and stuff like that. But a lot of times as Americans, like, we just think we can just do whatever we want. We just run around and act spoiled and entitled and stuff like that. Normally it's white people though. But so it says it says in 2023 alone, 288 foreign nationals were deported out of Baja to countries such as Peru, Germany, Colombia, Honduras, El Salvador, but mostly Americans. Sorry, I read that twice. In all, more than 17,000 people were deported from Mexico last year, with more than 2,500 from China alone. Another 1,500 were sent back to Uzbekistan. See, I'm learning stuff myself. I've never even heard of that country or place. Uzbekistan. I think I pronounced it pretty decent though. Uzbekistan. Yep, it says in all more than 17,000 people were deported from Mexico last year, with more than 2,500 from China alone. Another 1,500 were sent back from Uzbekistan. Many on the list were Brazilians and from other South American countries. Hundreds of African immigrants were also deported from Mexico to countries such as Mauritania, Guinea, and Ghana. Sorry for butchering some of these names. It says hundreds of African immigrants were also deported from Mexico to countries such as Mauritania, Guinea, and Ghana. Russians and many Central American immigrants also found themselves being sent back home from Mexico in 2023. Said Russians and many Central American immigrants also found themselves being sent back home from Mexico in 2023. Shit. I mean, I don't know how I feel about all those, but like, I just thought it was, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, because as Americans, we don't want nobody here, but we feel like we can move about freely and go and do whatever we want. So I just thought that was kind of funny how there's actually Americans being deported from Mexico. Like, get out of here, you know what I'm saying? So they kind of feel how Mexicans do.
Breaking news. The president of Mexico has stated that he will begin to deport Americans that have moved to Mexico without proper documentation, aka illegal immigrants. This comes after the president of Mexico states that he is tired of Americans gentrifying cities in Mexico. In the past 3 weeks, we have seen different events where Americans try to colonize beaches, public areas, and even salsa. While a lot of these Americans have moved to Mexico for a better life, they moved there because they cannot afford to live here in the United States. So move to Mexico so they can afford a lifestyle there. But locals have raised their prices because Americans are paying in dollars, while locals that are still shopping have to pay in pesos and now have to pay the equivalent of the dollar. And instead of these people moving to Mexico and bettering the economy, they're making it horrible for the people that live there, you know, the natives. And if you already did not know, the amount of Mexicans migrating to the United States has slowed down by the 100,000 since 2019. The amount of Mexicans living in the United States leaving willingly back to Mexico has increased drastically. And while Mexicans are moving back to Mexico, a lot of Americans have been moving to Mexico for a better life. But my, how the tables have turned. What are your thoughts?
I love it. How she said, my, how the tables have turned. Yeah. I mean, no matter how you feel about it, that's crazy though, you know, because I didn't even really know that, because like we pay so much attention to, you know, what's going on here in the United States. It's crazy. Just like, and I don't know if it's like 2024, but I know I did some research. It's probably maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I was looking to see like how other countries, like police, like how their police forces, like what they use and stuff like that. And I know in Japan, I don't know if it's in totality, but I was reading about like how their police officers, like how their police stations and how their just how their police officers patrol and stuff like that. It said like they don't even use like pistols and stuff like that. They do like a lot of their arrests by just like physical combat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're trained. I heard they use like mats and stuff like that to arrest people, to help arrest people. I'm sure I'm not saying everything exactly correct, but I know there's a lot of those elements that they use. Like basically saying they don't just like go up to people and like shoot people with pistols and stuff like that. They have other tactics that they use, is what I'm saying. Like less dangerous ways, is what I'm saying. But that's crazy, yeah. So got one more I'm gonna play for y'all.
If you kick out all the United States citizens from Mexico, then who's gonna raise the cost of living and price out all the indigenous people from living in their own country? No, oh my God. In the sense that, okay, but if you kick all the U.S. citizens out of Mexico, then who's going to be in Mexico telling people that they need to speak English?
Oh, no. Yes,
okay,
no,
can't say that. Okay, fine, all right. But if you kick all of the U.S. citizens out of Mexico, then who's going to overstay their visas and live in Mexico because the cost of living is lower, but then turn around and tell the Mexican people that they shouldn't be crossing into the U.S. for a quote-unquote better life?
Okay, girl, I can't even say that. Oh my God.
Here they come. Here they come. Them crazy motorcycles. I just heard one of them loud ass motorcycles. Here it comes. Y'all hear it? Some crazy white man driving through. So I'm gonna play another video.
To Mexico is because they can't afford to live in America anymore.
Here we go.
So the US dollar has... Mexico is now deporting Americans back to the US because they're fed up. So recently, people in Mexico have been complaining because there's been an increased amount of Americans moving to Mexico without documentation. This has been causing inflation in Mexico since Americans usually don't pay any tax, and they pay in US dollars, so prices have been going up. Just in the past 60 days, there's been over 240,000 immigrant apprehensions, and over 7,000 of them have been deported so far. The reason people are fleeing from the US to Mexico is because they can't afford to live in America anymore, and in Mexico, the US dollar has a lot more value and can go a longer way. However, because of this, people in Mexico are also feeling like Americans have been colonizing in a lot of parts of Mexico, and for locals it's been a struggle since businesses have been naturally raising prices in response to this. People in Mexico are saying this is decreasing the quality of life over there, and everyone using pesos now having to pay more to buy anything.
Yeah. Mexico is now deporting Americans back to the U.S. Oh, how the tables have turned. It's crazy, huh? So hold on.
Recipes.
I got some other video clips that I want to play for y'all. So I thought we would just end this episode with a on this day in history. So this is from yesterday. And so did you know that on this day in 1892, a white mob destroyed Ida B. Wells' newspaper office while she was away and threatened bodily harm if she returned because she challenged the black criminality? And this is from a newspaper article. It says, white mob destroys Memphis office of Ida B. Wells newspaper. That was on May 27th. So actually, no, that is today. My bad. So yeah. So on this day, May 27th. So some of you white people need to raise your kids better. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they end up doing. Or they end up doing things like this. I don't know if y'all, this for NFL peeps. We all love the NFL. But we don't like when people sexual assault people. So hopefully this isn't true. But 2 women are suing the Jacksonville Jaguars and his former kicker Brandon McManus after he sexually assaulted them on a team flight to London last year. So my thing with that, and the main reason I brought that up, is because, and hopefully I'm wrong, like I'm saying, if he did do that, then he needs to be charged, he needs to go to prison and all that, right? And they need to talk about it. Every day, all day, just like they talk about P. Diddy and, you know, and I don't want to hear, oh, well, P. Diddy's a bigger superstar. So what? Isn't crime crime? Like, why don't we hear about the Brett Favre stuff that much anymore? Like, you can go online and find it, obviously. You know, I gave the example of that white wrestler, that Chris Benoit. The WWE was popular as hell. I mean, super popular. Wrestling back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, that shit was super popular. Dude killed his whole family. His wife, his kid. You heard about it just for some days. And then that's it. It might get littered in here and there, and that was it. You hear about P. Diddy, you hear about Diddy every single damn day of the week, every day. Same thing here in Wisconsin. That Daryl Brooks with that Christmas Day thing that happened in Waukesha. The tragedy, I'm calling it a tragedy. A lot of them white people out there in Waukesha call it an attack. Like he intentionally did it on purpose. Like he woke up that morning and did that intentionally. But like every time that man goes to court, he goes to court for child support here and there. That shit's on the news. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know nothing about this. Shouldn't we be hearing about this? I wonder if they even put it on like Sports Center and shit. But yeah. So it just goes to show you, you know what I'm saying, just some of the stuff that the news picks and chooses, like that they want to talk about, and then like how long it gets talked about. You know what I'm saying? Some of this shit that some of these white people do, like, you gotta go online and dig. You gotta do a deep ocean dive, or you'll never hear about some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Here's another one real quick. I'll just roll out with this. I got the video, the audio.
$1,000 bond and was released by a deposit man accused of killing his 3-year-old son is out on bail. According to Delaware County District Attorney Sean Smith, James Christ Jr. posted a $20,000 bond and was released by a town of Deposit judge. Christ is charged with manslaughter and assault after New York State police say he recklessly caused the child's death. State troopers were called to Building 5 of Meadow Park Apartments on May 10th for a report of an unresponsive toddler. Smith tells News Channel 34 that he argued against bail because of Christ's criminal history and the seriousness of the charges. Christ has a prior conviction for assault after he stabbed a man in Binghamton multiple times in the back in December of 2017.
Another angry, white, lonely kid. That's what they'll be doing. You know what I'm saying? Some of them. So I said some of them. And then, like, it'll be people like him. That'll be the serial killers, the school shooters, and then the January 6th rioters. You'll be having some of those type of individuals. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey,
parents, raise your kids better. Hey, baby.
Should we let the baby out?
Yeah. Just getting ready for the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get in with that. And hey baby, did you realize that Mexico's deporting Americans and shit out of Mexico back to the US?
Good.
That's what I said. I was like, my, how the tables have turned. I was scrolling through the phone and happened to see it. I was like, what? So I went and checked, and yeah. This is crazy, right, to see that, because we're just so used to, you know, hearing about what's going on.
The dominator.
Right, exactly. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, good, because some of those people that were getting deported back are some of the same people that don't want Mexicans here and stuff. Talking about put the wall up and all that. So now they're seeing how it feels to be kicked out of somewhere, not welcomed. Hi, Chewy. Yeah. I fed him just about an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I just put him in for a nap. Yeah, so we're just going to get ready for the game.
Okay.
And
I have a player in.
You do got a player in? Okay, cool.
Lombard.
You played Denver?
Yeah.
Good, because Halliburton.
Halliburton's out.
He's out again, yeah.
Well, Nimbard's the only pacer I have left.
And he'll probably be your high scorer
good.
of the night, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good here. I got you, baby. Yeah, so we're going to get out of here, get ready to watch the game. I think I might have a little more coffee. And I think we'll let Charlie out. And we'll talk to everyone soon. Peace.
Tired of white folks trying to train wild animals. Train your kids. How about that? Train them. Train them. Sit, stay, leave the gun at home.
Thanks for listening to today's episode.
And they have on a Catholic uniform, and run. Because they will go to school and kill everybody. For no reason. I'm a loner. I'm wearing a black coat. I was molested. I'm going to kill everybody. Crazy little ass kids. School has changed since I went to school. That shit ain't the same. When I went to school and we went to recess, we all came back. You go to recess now, nobody comes back. Where are the rest of them? Somebody shot them, teacher, they dead.
It's not funny, but it's...
School has changed. It's a goddamn shame. It's white folks, something wrong with them. That animal stuff, they're freaks. And the animals know, they know like we know. Go to the zoo. The animals, those animals know that white folks caught them and locked them up. Go take your white friends to the zoo. Watch it. You don't hate when you see it. Watch the way the animals stare at them. And if they get too close, they'll bite them. Take niggas. Take 15 or 16 niggas over there. Them animals get so happy. They see that many niggas, they think they're going home. They start throwing up gang signs.